コースはこういうモディファイドコースを滑るのが初めてだったから最初は結構苦戦したけど自分なりにできることをやれたからまあかな
上とかもルキ意外と滑れてたしで下も結構飛んで回ってたからまあいいんじゃない
恥ずかしいなんか
でも1位取れるでしょ
取れるかない
や取るでしょ
上期待してる
It is the big dance finals day, and we are all the way up 8,150 feet up live from Vail, Colorado for the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. And we are taking it to the pipe on a picture-perfect Vail day. 42 degrees of joy, not a cloud in the sky, and you are looking upwards at the most modern, prolific, modified pipe on the planet right now. And we are going to crown 2 champions today in both women's and men's. Sal Masekela here with you with Kelly Clark, Tina Dixon, and Louis Vito. And right off the bat, it will be Mitsuki Ono from Japan. And of note in this field, we have 3 Japanese riders, 2 riders from China, and our defending champ from the USA, Maddie Mastro. Just putting into perspective, team, how much this sport has grown and how the influence is coming from abroad, especially from Asia in halfpipe.
Yeah, it's a whole kind of fresh crop of riders here. It's going to be a 3-run final today, and this is what everybody's been waiting for. All the stops are going to come out, and we're going to see some incredible snowboarding.
And you talk about those up-and-coming riders. Mitsuki is an example of that. Only 15 years old. She won that junior jam in 2017-18.
So she's dropping in here into the 13-foot modified section of the pipe with a little tap on the tombstone right into an alley-oop. Heading into the 22-foot pipe, carrying some speed over the hubba, into her first hit in the big pipe with a frontside 720, landing really high on the wall, right into the cab 7.
This broadcast also available in Japanese on Rebel TV as well. How about that ender, Tina?
That 900 at the end with that tail grab was absolutely perfect. And then the combination of the 720s before that, that is a great start for the young 15-year-old.
It was really great to see, too, just her execution in the big pipe, especially where she took off, how she landed, and just so smooth.
So the question coming into this earlier in semifinals, we were wondering how this smaller pipe, only 13 feet, was going to affect the judging. The riders now have had a lot of, couple days to practice, and now check out them in the finals. That front side spin with the tail grab, tiny bit of a hand drag, but absolutely beautiful. And like Louis said, the execution was there.
We'll call that a style hand drag. That was very Sean-esque.
78, that's a great first run score for her. She's going to be happy. Great to build on your first run.
Again, happy Saturday. Welcome in with the team. As you can see, Kelly Clark, 8-time winner of the US Open, and we got the memo about the colors. What happened, team? I sent out a group text last night.
Yeah, you guys really let us down.
Where's your yellow?
This is off-white.
Welcome to the folks that are watching, not only on Rebel TV, but on DirecTV, and for our folks down under. In Australia, we're watching on Fox TV. Good day. Thanks for joining us. The weather, as I mentioned before, absolutely perfect. Not only is it just the right amount of warm for this course to soften up, but also wind. Very little of it, Kelly.
Yeah, it's about as good as it gets for a half-pipe day. I think we're even seeing after that first run, the softer the pipe gets, the more edgeable it becomes, and the more speed that these women are going to be able to carry. It's going to be a great day for half-pipe riding.
We take a look at the beautiful Rockies that we are nestled in, and we talk about this course being modified. Let's take a look at it, this modified course. First up, this 13-foot section.
Then you have the tombstone feature, just a little extension. Riders can either air over it, tap it, or avoid it. But it's still a true mini pipe after that. You can exit out of the mini pipe into the jump landing. Some riders opt to just go straight. Then we have the rollers, a step up, the Euro, the hubba, whatever you want to call it, the 22-foot half pipe, the traditional half pipe that these riders have been riding all year. But let's not forget, this is modified half pipe. The whole mini pipe up above is very strong in your score. You can't just skip it to get to the 22-foot half pipe.
And there you see we've got 6 riders, 3 runs. The best run counts. Very simple. And there's also that very important overall impression score, which with this modified pipe makes that overall impression even more interesting with the judging.
Yeah, it's really made up of execution, creativity, progression, trick difficulty, amplitude, variety, and combination. So it's going to be a complete run that they need to put down.
Well, hey, Sal, real quick. Now, we have an 8-time champion, which Jamie just tied, but I feel like I can't get in trouble for this just because you are the best, but I went through your phone and pulled a nice little clip of you to show everybody
when did you
that
go through my phone?
I want you to come back because you are such a strong rider still. Look at you go, Kelly.
This is yesterday. I was enjoying myself getting out there, kind of trying to kick the rust off a little bit.
I mean, you're doing cripplers. You just literally haven't ridden much pipe this year, front 7.
Look.
I think you still got it, and I've been vocal since the 2018 Olympics that I'm trying to catch the mic before it's dropped to the floor because you are such a strong rider still in the half pipe.
Can you please get Kelly her snowboard? And Kelly, let's get you a cat and get you up there right now.
Bring a snowmobile around real quick.
Listen, we'll get the hashtag started. Bring back Kelly.
Please.
But with Jamie Anderson tying you now with 8 wins, you really might have to think about coming back next year just to solidify being most dominant. Let's take a look at our start list. Mitsuki Ono, we saw Xiao Tong Wu from China. Zhu Tong Kai finished 3rd here last year. Haruna Matsumoto and our defending champ Maddie Mastro, and Ruki Tomita from Japan.
Ruki is such a great story. You know, this is her first US Open. Can you believe that? Imagine qualifying first.
That has got to be a moment for her. We've seen a few firsts and people taking advantage of their firsts. How about Dusty Henriksen yesterday? Just showing all the way out as we are back to the top with Xiao Tong Wu from China, 21 years of age.
And she has come a long way. You know, she competed at the Olympics in Pyeongchang, finished up in that half pipe 27. So from that to now in this US Open Finals, she's really put her work in.
And she's just heading into the big pipe here. First run in finals.
Now into the 22-foot.
Into that backside wall to a backside 900, taking it to the flats. She will be glad this is a 3-run final.
And this course really forces these riders to get out of that usual half pipe run that they've been training for all season long, that they've been competing all season long. They have to adapt to that 13-foot wall pipe and then add some of those tricks, those bigger tricks in that 22-foot wall pipe.
And you have to imagine for a rider like Xiao Tong, she probably has never been in a 13-foot pipe.
I think that's very safe to say. You know, she's kind of now almost the 2nd generation coming out of China, you know, with role models that like Jiayu Liu, who have really kind of paved the way for her. Tauntaun, who we'll see later today, really paved the way for her. This is the next wave of Chinese riders.
Hey, Kelly, we've been talking about it all week as we're ready for Zhu Tong Kai to drop in. That top section of the course, the modified mini, you probably have fond flashbacks to riding pipes that size when you started.
Yes, those are my glory days back in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I have fond memories of watching Kelly Clark just dominate contests in that pipe.
So we really are in the totality of what pipe riding has looked like for almost the last 30 years in one stretch of a half pipe, which is pretty amazing.
Really challenging these riders to get out of their comfort zone, get out of their box, and get creative. So dropping in her first run with a backside air right into an alley-oop in the modified section of the pipe, heading into the 22-foot transition, right into a front side 900, beautifully grabbed, landing a little bit low, maintaining her speed into the backside 540.
Backside 540, what she got?
Into that beautiful air to fakie. And she's gonna call it a run after that.
So something to note, in her traditional half pipe contest, that last hit normally that she does, she'll go cab 720. She can also take it to a cab 900. And Kelly, you were saying that you talked to her earlier about that pipe, it's just not as big to fill to get that trick in.
Yeah, it's really difficult. You know, come finals day, everyone kind of takes out all the stops and you're going faster, you're going bigger. There's a great example of it right there.
How about the power of the squat?
Power squat out of that front 9. And you end up kind of losing a hit. I think these women, they got 4 hits in qualifiers, some of them. And I think they're only going to get 3 today. And so that's going to make it extremely difficult to put a run together.
Regardless, Zhu Tong Kai, 88.1, setting the bar.
And I said that Zhu Tong Kai is the role model for the next generation of Chinese riders, and she showed you why.
From Sapporo, Japan, Haruna Matsumoto, also 26 years of age. Now, there was word that she was limping earlier in the day. We're not sure specifically of the injury, but we will see how that affects her as you see her right now, mentally going through her progressions. Kelly, how important is that, seeing the run in your head before you take it?
Yeah, very much so. There's so many things that fight for your attention, whether it be an injury, whether it be what the announcer is saying. So getting that visualization and really just focusing on the task at hand, putting everything aside and heading into her first run here, the modified pipe.
I've always wondered that when you are dropping into the half pipe like this, remember there's those live event announcers, can you hear them at all, or do you just tune it all out?
Well, Kelly had the music blasting at 12.
Yeah, that's why I had the music blasting. Speaking of blasting, here we go, right into a frontside 900 from Haruna, into the backside wall with a backside 5, and she also has a front 10. I wonder if we're gonna see it here today. She's gonna go with a 7 into the cab 7. So she wanted to put a run down, land on her feet. You know, I think that 10 is gonna be coming next run once she's got that run perfect for her first.
You saw in qualifying the riders who had less of a performance up top and then went huge in the bottom half of the pipe, the scores didn't necessarily reflect that.
You have to ride the full course. Every hit counts, and these judges are looking at it. Here's that backside 540, getting the mute grab. And then coming up right here, there's the front side 720, grab locked in, put the landing gear down. Good first run. She had a little bit of trouble on the exit from the mini pipe to the jump landing. So there's some things she can clean up, some tricks you said that she can add, Kelly. So I'm looking forward to run number 2.
Love this best of 3 format in the manner, there you see right there, just a little bit of a limp with that right leg.
How crazy is it though? I mean, snowboarding, these riders, they battle through injuries all year. This is the last contest and she still put down a run.
Incredible. Maddie Mastro, our defending champion, who last year really set the snowboard world on fire with the first ever double crippler, which got her the win here, and the way that has changed her life this year and also influenced the next generation of riders Maddie's been aware of.
It'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, it's super inspiring to see this younger generation, especially young girls, be like, hey, that's the girl that did the double, that's Maddie Mastro. And I'm excited to leave that impression on young females because that's what I want, is to progress the sport and have the younger generation doing that as well. You got to keep it going and continue with that. So I've definitely gotten a lot more, especially little girls, like inspired, which, yeah, that's the goal of this, is to inspire the next generation.
And Kelly,
so it'll be really interesting to see what strategy she uses today. If she comes into her first run in finals and puts down a solid run and lands on her feet, or if she goes for broke all 3 runs with the double. She's going to get 3 runs today. Strategy is going to play a role, and I'm really excited to see what she puts down.
You know, she talked about influencing that younger generation. She's still part of that young generation. She's only 20 years old.
Fresh 22, just turned 20 last week.
You see Maddie playing it through, going with the monochromatic. Loving it. Maddie Mastro, who, by the way, Kelly, I mean, you kind of played a role in that double crippler last year. You gave her some advice on how to get that thing done, correct?
I think it was mostly her. I'm just here for encouragement and support. So dropping into that exit, that's a nice 360. That's an addition from her qualifying run, heading into the 22-foot section of the course, into a big backside 540, right into the frontside 720. And we're gonna see the Hawkin flip right there. And the double crippler.
Oh, front double 10.
Front double 10, she fooled us all.
It's so difficult sometimes when you're trying to spot the landing on the double crippler to not go 1080. I've kind of been one of those people too who are like, are you sure you just don't want to go 10 because I think it might be easier? She's, nope, I can do a double crippler.
The shoulders just keep rotating. If you let your head look, your shoulders will follow, and that's just what happened there on that last hit.
So she made a smart move here at the top of the course. That was new, and that was a similar line to what the top guys were doing earlier in semifinals.
You know, the one thing that's really standing out to me is her amplitude today and how she's riding this. You can tell that she's jacked. She's ready to go. This is the US Open. You can see those shoulders kind of started going. You have to fight your body wanting to turn, but just peek over your front shoulder.
It was how she threw it. She threw it like a 10, more so than a crippler than I've ever seen. So she's gonna have to kind of make a decision of which one of those she wants to do.
They're pretty good options, though, I would say, if you have to decide between a double crippler or a front double 10, but, you know, she wants the double crippler.
As Louis said, clearly Maddie is here to defend her championship. Ruki Tomita, just 18 years of age from Japan.
It's been fun to watch her progression over the last couple years. She's someone that kind of caught my eye just riding around. She was never in, you know, the World Cups or the big competitions. And now you see her making finals at World Cups, the #1 qualifier. Her older sister's injured, so it's almost cool to see her older sister say, well, you never competed at the Open here. Let me hand the torch off to you now. Represent me and the family at the US Open.
Yeah, what a great story. And her older sister, Senna, you know, competed at the Olympics in Pyeongchang. And now Ruki's just picking that torch right up.
Dropping into her first run with a nice little alley-oop bonk on the tombstone. Another alley-oop. Heading into the 22-foot pipe. Pumping in for speed off the hubba. Into the frontside 720. Heading in switch. Into the cab 7.
As she makes her way down.
Into the frontside 900. It's a great run.
She mixed it up from semis. She did the frontside 9 first hit in semifinals. And we saw the piece with she and Yuto earlier, and she kind of did the same trick that Yuto almost does on the tombstone. But I like that she mixed it up, a little different run than we saw from her in semifinals.
Yeah, I think some of the execution here is where it's going to be a little tough. Just tapping the grab there. The judges are really looking for those well-executed grabs to separate the women here in the field.
But there's no doubt she is boosting out of this half pipe.
We had Terry Hawkinson in here the other day, and he said it about as concise as he could, Kelly. He said, board, it has bindings on it, so it's easy for you to be able to get the grab. I mean, you have bindings on, grab your board.
I could see him saying that, so that'll put her into 3rd place. Solid run for her first US Open final.
And after one run, here is where we are. Zhu Tong Kai currently in first, followed by Mitsuki Ono and our #1 qualifier, Ruki Tomita. But you got to think that Maddie Mastro, if she executes her intentions, that had all the feel of what would be a first place run.
Well, Maddie, the fact that she went for that on her first run tells me the trick comes first and then the results come. So she's focusing on those tricks and the progression.
That was a good first run. I mean, we had some riders that might be the favorite to win, you know, not put one down, but this is run 1 of 3. We still have 2 more runs to go.
And Kelly, the difference between a 2-run and a 3-run format in the final, what does that do for you?
It really gives you breathing room as a rider. You know, like Tino was saying, you don't have to hold back. You have 3 opportunities, best run counts. It just kind of relieves the pressure. for you to be able to go out there and you have 3 opportunities to see what you've built, see what you're made of.
All right, well, speaking of what we're made of, let's see what the #1 run is made of from Zhu Tong Kai.
So here's a little replay of the first run with that alley-oop. And now watch how well she executes heading into these tricks.
I think it's key to watch. She lands flat, but she doesn't double edge. She stays on that heel edge, which allows her to continue the same line into the backside 540.
And that air to fakie is absolutely beautiful.
And you saw that execution element that you spoke about, not just big tricks, but also that execution. All those grabs held and maintains with the judges say, oh yes, we will reward for that.
Yeah, exactly.
And they've been rewarding her all season long for that specific thing.
Well, here we go, back up to the top for our second runs. Again, I mean, you couldn't have ordered 2 more picture-perfect days for competition. 41 degrees, 7 miles an hour yesterday, 42 degrees, right around 9 or 10 miles an hour today, and not a cloud in the sky. Mitsuki Ono, you know she is loving it at 15 years of age, her first US Open. And you love the camaraderie amongst the entire Japanese contingent, the men and women there for each other, pushing each other.
Exactly, and you know, a lot of those riders you saw at the top, she travels with year-round. They're the younger crew. They're the younger generation coming up. She's now cracked the seal and into the finals. You know, it's great to see someone like her who came through the junior jam years ago, 2 years ago.
So she put down her first run. She's going to be looking to progress off that score. I believe she had a 78 in her first run. Let's see what she's got here. Into the front side 720. Heading in switch to the cab 7. Into the front side, taking it a little bit deep there.
That was a significant crash. We saw her catch that edge right there and get thrown to the bottom, and that is what this sport is about. It is a game of inches when trying to land in that transition.
Well, we've all caught our edges, whether it's riding down a cat track, which you think could be so easy. You catch that toe edge and wham, wind knocked out of you.
It happens real quick. Started off with a nice little frontside air over that tombstone.
But she just continued to build her amplitude every hit. There's a frontside 720 coming into the switch frontside 720. And this is the front 9. I actually thought that the execution was really strong on that. I thought she was going to land it, and you know, sometimes you think the same thing and you're like, okay, perfect, and then you just get grabbed, you land just a little off, and in a split second you're slammed to the bottom of the flat bottom. And again, those walls are 22 feet tall, so it doesn't matter. Anytime you fall on the tranny and it throws you to the flat bottom, there's a lot of force behind that.
Well, hopefully she'll be able to take her third run. We have a great medical team that will evaluate her and see if that is possible. As we head back up to Xiao Tong Wu, currently in 6th place.
And she put together a nice performance in semifinals, really showed us what she's capable of.
Looked like she was going for the little board slide on top of the tombstone. Coming into the rollers, into the big 22-foot half pipe, the traditional half pipe. There's that backside 900. She had trouble on that in the first run, and same thing on the second, just landing a little low. That one maybe a little under-rotated.
Yeah, it looked like she didn't get the snap that she wanted. It's such a difficult trick to do a backside 9 on the first hit.
And then also, how difficult is it to transition? Because you ride those pipes differently, from a 13-foot wall pipe to a 22-foot wall pipe. And this is her first trick in that bigger pipe.
Yeah, her degree of difficulty is quite high. Let's see what happened here. She just got a little bit stuck behind and landed a little too low on the tranny. Didn't get the rotation around the wall. She wishes the wall came a little bit sooner, and she slipped out there at the bottom.
But that 13-foot transition is so tight. You know, with a 22-foot half pipe, even between 18 and 22 feet in half pipes, the transition in a 22 is so long and gradual, and you can take so much speed. A mini pipe, you don't need as much speed, but the transition is so quick, and it goes divert so fast. So it's weird to go from a really tight tranny to the really long transition. So to remember, patience in the 22 after the walls in the 13 were so quick.
I literally was about to ask you how much patience makes a difference in the 22.
Everything.
And there you go. Our leader, Zhu Tong Kai, who it's been incredible to watch her progression over the course of the last decade. I mean, she has only gotten consistently better.
Yeah, she's progressed her riding quite a bit this year. She landed an incredible cab 9 in Mammoth, I saw. And, you know, that's the thing with this modified half pipe. It's going to be really difficult for her. She essentially got 3 hits in that big section of the pipe, and I know she's got a cab 7. I know she's got a cab 9. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her switch up what tricks she does where to try and fit in some additional technical heavy-hitting tricks.
And she took 3rd place here in 2019. Has yet to be on top of that podium yet here at the US Open.
That was a great alley-oop there in the 13-foot section of the pipe. Pumping in. Let's see what she's got here. Into the front side 10. Going for the 10, going for the progress. I think she knows she landed that first run as good as she could, and she's going to look to build on that now.
You know, I've always said she always goes for it. There's no holding back, and that's what I love. Okay, I might be in first, but I know I need to step it up because there's people that want that top spot from me. I'm going to go for the front side 1080, and it looked like it was all from the beginning, the very first snap on that front 10, but her upper section, I think, was even bigger than her first run.
Yeah, I agree. I think right here we can look at that front side 10. She went too straight up the wall, leaving her weight behind. She couldn't get her weight over that front foot coming in. Sometimes kind of missing that grab a little bit puts you in the back seat as well. So she takes that thing a little bit further down the wall. I am all too familiar with going too straight on a front 10. I can tell you that will fix it for you.
And so Zhu Tong Kai will stick with her first run. And in that first position for now.
Yeah, but I like it that she's going for it, because if you're gonna win the Burton US Open, you want to win it with the progressive tricks.
So Haruna Matsumoto coming in for her second run.
You know, we talked about the progression of the sports with how diverse our field is, but we also have a Japanese broadcast of the Burton US Open.
It is happening simultaneously on Red Bull TV in Japanese, and we've been saying it all week. You know, Japan is really the place that is producing what looks like the future of progression right now.
Oh, they are. That is no question. Coming in switch now. There's the half cab into the 22-foot half pipe, right into the front side 900. Then the backside 540. Front side 720.
And she's going to finish her run off with a cab 720. So I think that run was executed a little bit better than her first run. She got the transfer out of the modified pipe a little bit more clean. She was able to carry better speed, have better execution. We saw her before limping. She's definitely putting on a brave face for this, and I think she's going to be happy with that second run.
Kelly, you have ridden the US Open halfpipe in pain before. I've seen it a couple times, more than a couple times, and you've talked about that 20-30 seconds. You work all season long for that one run and fighting through the pain.
Yeah, you can hurt later. It's a matter of just getting through the day, and that's part of being an athlete. That's part of competition, is being able to compartmentalize and put everything else to the side to make that 30 seconds count.
Let's get that on a t-shirt, please, immediately. You can hurt later. Kelly Clark, take that approach to your day. I mean, it makes perfect sense.
And it's the last contest of the year, so you're leaving everything out there.
And look at that. Haruna Matsumoto bumping up about 10 points, putting her in the third again with that limp. We don't know what the injury is, but she clearly is limping. Look at her dragging her right leg.
I don't even know, is that a limp? Because I think that's worse than just saying, oh, she's limping. she's literally dragging her leg.
Nice and easy this time.
Well, Maddie Mastro is our defending champ. She would like to not be a one-trick pony. Now let's take a look at her first run, which had some bangers in it, to see what she could do on this last hit to clear up.
So you see that wind up, and just as soon as she took off, she opened up her shoulders, which started the rotation too much for a double crippler, and she went frontside double cork 1080. And I think if she kind of recognized that, she could almost have just dropped the shoulder in, but as soon as she took off, the shoulders open. You have to keep the shoulders closed a little bit and just peek over that front shoulder on a double crippler.
Yeah, that initiation is key. However you initiate it will be how it ends up. So if she can kind of take it easy, just think crippler, 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 it'll come right around.
Had a chance to spend some time with Maddie a couple of evenings ago, and she talked about how her win here last year really changed her whole perspective. Like, suddenly you're getting attention and people know your name in a way that they didn't know before. Kelly, when you do start to have now like that recognition and the things that come with it, the duties outside of just snowboarding, how does that affect your approach as it becomes more of a job?
Honestly, it can be very difficult. There's expectation and there's pressure coming from everywhere and everyone in addition to yourself. And so I think it's just one more thing to kind of grow and conquer as a rider, really, to be able to have that expectation and that pressure and still focus on the task at hand and, you know, go back to the basics. It's about snowboarding, and keep it simple. That's the best thing you can do. So she's heading into her first hit on that tombstone with the alley-oop and transferring out with the 360, heading into the 22-foot section with the backside 540, incredibly well executed, into the frontside 720. Ooh. Just taking it a little bit deep and having to revert on that landing.
You see the frustration.
It's so difficult when you know what tricks you're focusing on later in the run. It's easy to not think about what you're doing in the moment, and that might be what happened to her there, thinking about, I've got to get this double crippler, and just making a uncharacteristic mistake on her frontside 720.
Well, it almost looked like to me on that frontside 7, she kind of was like sort of starting that rotation in a crippler, but because she didn't go, see how she sort of went off axis on that a little bit more than she usually does.
I think she had a lot of speed from that backside 540. She landed so high on the wall, she probably came in a little hot and got a little bit wild on that.
She actually landed the 7 pretty good.
Well, I mean, that frustration in her face and the determination of that walk back up.
Well, that's why they give you 3 runs, so she'll be real glad she gets one more crack at it.
Talk about the camaraderie. Look at Yuki Kodono up there supporting, the champ from yesterday.
What a day that was.
Unbelievable slopestyle final. Congratulations to Kodono getting back up there after his really long drought after his win in 2015. And how cool is it? Up at the top to support our #1 qualifier, his fellow countrywoman, Ruki Tomita, just 18 years of age, out of Nogita, Japan. And look at that smile. Talk about being happy to be here at your first ever US Open. She's clearly enjoying the wholeness of this experience.
And you have to, because at the end of the day, you kind of look back and you're like, that went by way too fast. Let's go back. I really need to remember these moments more.
Coming into that, the first hit. There's that 50-50. That was sick. Frontside alley-oop, switch 50-50 across the tombstone.
Fully committed.
Getting in there. Let's get a little practice. There's that frontside 900 first hit. Into the backside 540.
For the first hit into the big section.
Into the frontside 720. With the cap 7 on the baby landing. You know what? If you just took out that one fall on the tombstone, that half pipe run was better than her first run. So if she can put it all together, that's going to be a really solid score.
Yeah, I like that degree of difficulty up on the tombstone here. Let's get another look at it.
It was right there.
That was sick.
And it was just so stylish. That's what you want to see. That's the kind of creativity that you want to see in that section of this course.
The more time these women get in that modified pipe, we're just going to see more and more creativity and it's fun. You know, the more days you get in it, the more you realize what you can do.
I really enjoy what it's bringing out in all of the riders, and you hope that this just kind of continues to progress, right, and become somewhat of a mainstay, wondering, like, at the end of the season, like, what's the Burton US Open going to throw at us this year? Well, after 2 runs, Zhu Tong Kai still in that first place position. We will get you an update on Haruna, on her injury. Louis, we're going to send you down into the final corral, sir.
Thank you for having me, but I need to get some of the energy they have down at the bottom pipe, because that's what the US Open is all about. Jake and Donna down there have always been just cheering. That's what I remember. So that's where I'm going to be at.
Go do that in the spirit of Jake Burton here at the 2020 Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. We are going to crown a women's champion when we come back. Will it be Zhu Tong Kai? Will she hold on? Stay with us.
Focusing only on the next turn. Spending time in the mountains. Sharing real experiences with true friends. For us, it's more than just snowboarding. It's an escape back to reality. Offline Nitro Snowboards. Now available on Red Bull TV. For women.
Mathilde Vermont, Kelly Silderoux, Tess Ledoux, Jenny Lee Bermanson.
Shake up the world of free skiing.
This girl is beyond talented.
X Games, World Championships, you name it, they rock it. A thin line between friendship and competition. 4. Now available on Red Bull TV.
When focus, confidence, and perseverance triumph over all obstacles. Peace, an Element audiovisual project, now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back to finals day, the big dance on Saturday. Halfpipe finals, a beautiful day here in Vail in the midst of the women's finals. Sal Masekela here with 8-time Burton US Open winner Kelly Clark, X Games gold medalist and halfpipe finalist Tina Dixon.
I was just excited to get to the finals. 8 times.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. I'm happy I still get to be part of it here in the booth.
We love having you here. We talk about, you know, those 8 times, and you know, it's incredible. Maddie Mastro finds herself a defending champion. It's her first time. She would like to win more than once, but we'll get some perspective from her. I got to spend a little time with her to see what this last year has been like and what it's like for her coming into this Open.
When I say defending champion, what does that feel like to you?
Oh, pretty cool. Pretty exciting. It was my first contest win ever. Ever, so
just start at the top.
Yeah, to win this one, this is the one like everyone dreams of and works for, so it to be my first one was like pretty surreal.
You did an NBD, a never been done, double crippler, in competition.
I wanted to do it, but I didn't know that I was actually going to do it until I was 10 minutes before I was about to drop in. I closed my eyes and I laid on the ground and I visualized it, and I was like, yes, like I can see it. I can see it start from finish, and then just put it into motion, which was incredible.
This is the most progressive time in women's snowboarding. You're pushing each other and progressing at a rate that the sport's never seen before. What's it like to be in that
It's exciting. I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, we're all competitors, but we're also all trying to better our sport, which is where this progression's coming from. And something I've watched the Kelly Clarks, the Tora Brights before me, inspire me to do this, and then to finally have in motion and action of that is pretty cool.
Lastly, now you're that person who didn't quietly enter the final like last year. Now you have that target.
I know, that's pretty crazy. It's exciting to be like defending champ, and I hope to have many more of those.
That was the most upbeat fireside chat music that you're ever going to hear, but it really was great to spend some time with her and see the way she's growing in real time in the midst of this new pressure.
Yeah, she's so young. It's so difficult to deal with that expectation and that pressure. You know, she talked about that visualization, and I think sometimes, based off my experience, you almost want to just not overthink it. You know, you can get there and visualize and think about it and think about it and think about it, but at the end of the day, your body knows what to do. Focus on trick by trick, hit by hit, and when you get there, execute it just like you know how.
Kelly Clark, do you life coach at all? Can I hire you? Because I could use that every morning. I'd be like, yes, I'm going to go get after this day.
I know, I'm just sitting here like, tell me more.
Yes.
Honestly, less is more when it comes to these big moments in halfpipe riding.
That is perspective that you can only get from an Olympic gold medalist, X Games gold medalist, and 8-time defending champ here. Back up to the top, and it's interesting. We re-rack this final last runs according to placement. There you see Maddie Mastro, our defending champ, will drop in second. Zhu Tong Kai, currently in first, gets the privilege of dropping in last. How does that re-rack affect you?
It can be difficult from run 2 to run 3, having to get back on it if you haven't quite landed your run yet. So it's it can be quick, but sometimes it's good because you don't sit around and think for too long.
Exactly, and we've seen riders where that comes in as their advantage. You're not sitting around, you're not thinking, you're just getting right back on the horse.
Well, it is time for Xiao Tong Wu, the 21-year-old, to get us started off here in our final runs. We're crowning a champion here in 6 runs of snowboarding.
So she's dropping into her 3rd and final run into the modified section of the pipe with a backside air, heading into the 22-foot section.
And it was this backside 900 here that she's been having problems with. And yes, she gets it.
That was incredible. That's what she's been waiting to do, following it up with the 720. Oh, just coming up short. So close. She's going to be happy she landed that 9, but it's just so bittersweet when that last hit gets you.
And sometimes, too, when you land that trick that you've been so hung up on, there's a sense of relief, and you kind of forget, like, I still have to finish the run.
Yeah, and she hasn't practiced that run since practice, so it's been a while. So she's trying to put these other tricks in her run, and I think she just got in the back seat, didn't get that execution, needed to get that weight forward over her board, ends up coming up under-rotated on her heels, can't quite stand it up.
If she had popped off a little bit later, did she have a better chance?
She needed a better initiation, and perhaps the rotation would have came around.
All right. We'll wait for the score.
But still a nice showing for her to make the finals here at the Burton US Open.
I love that. That back 9 she did was incredible.
Not a lot of women compete with that backside 900. That is a difficult trick, and she landed it 3rd and final time.
All right, let's take a look split screen between Maddie Mastro and Tantan.
So choosing different obstacles there in the modification. So backside 540 from Maddie and a frontside 900. Very different tricks. Both of these women, they execute so well. That's what really sets both of these riders apart. I love that air to fakie.
Yeah, that thing was so stylish.
And he overcooked the frontside double. And we will look forward to her run right here to see what she has for her third and final run coming up.
The defending champ, you've heard from her own words how important this win here was for her last year. And we saw the glimpse of what easily could be a first place run from Maddie Mastro. She's had difficulty in her first 2 runs, but is fully capable. Will she be able to execute it here?
All right, dropping into the modified half pipe with an alley-oop off the tombstone. Looking for that exit, stage right, with the backside 360. And now heading into the 22-foot section with a backside 540. Now here's where she had a little bit of trouble last time. Into the frontside 720. Now into that cab 7, getting hung up on the coping. Oh, that is going to be disappointing for her.
And it's very rare to see her fall on that trick.
She talked a little bit about that pressure now, being in that position. And again, young, at only 20 years of age. This is not the end of the run for Maddie Mastro, but no doubt disappointed.
You can see right here on her backside 5, it was a little bit more conservative than her second run. And now she had a little bit more access, spinning on a different axis on that 7 than she normally does, and perhaps left a little bit early. Anytime you're getting close to that coping, yeah, you can see right there her board left a split second early. She missed that last little bit of vert, and she knew it. She was coming around too close to that coping, and she had to save it and wash out there in the flat bottom.
And it's, you know, in her previous runs earlier in this season, I would always say that was her setup trick to the crippler, or the double crippler, because she just does not fall on that trick.
That hawk and flip she does is incredible.
Maddie, congratulations on a great run into this final. We know that it was frustrating for you today. What happened? What happened to you in that last run?
Well, I did a crib 7, which I have never done, and then that kind of shocked me, and then I just went a little too early on my hawking, which happens to me, unfortunately. And yeah, it just didn't come together for me today, which is a big bummer.
Yeah, this is Kelly, by the way, hello.
Hi, Kel.
I hadn't seen that crib 7 before. It surprised us too here in the booth.
Yeah, I just strangely throughout this few runs, they just got corkier and corkier, and then I guess decided to flip it because it seemed easier. Yeah, I don't know, yeah.
Well, props to go for it. I mean,
Thank you.
Going for it, 3 runs in the final, that's so important for women's snowboarding. We will always be here cheering you on, and we're excited to see you.
Me too, I'm excited for the future. Thank you, guys.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Maddie. Well, really gracious of Maddie straight after that, with you clearly in the emotions of what just took place, to take the time to talk to us. What is it like when you frankly are unable to meet up to your expectations on a stage like this?
It's devastating. You know, you get so upset, but it's a sign that you actually care. You know, if you weren't bummed about it, you probably don't care enough. And it's incredibly difficult to put on a smile. Very gracious of Maddie today to talk to us amidst disappointment, because the disappointment is real when you know what you're capable of and you're not able to put it down.
And she also talked earlier about just the influence she's had on younger riders with that double crippler. And, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes it's just not your day.
And it's also just a reminder that, hey, snowboarding at this level, at the highest level, these are the best in the world, but you never have snowboarding mastered at this level. It's a constant relationship, and it will remind you that this is not easy, and it is a continuing relationship that you have to build to perform at this level. Ruki Tomita comes in next, our #1 qualifier, but because of the re-rack, no longer enjoying that relative safety of getting to go last. If you're Ruki, what's your mindset right now?
This is just such an incredible story. This is her first US Open, her first US Open final. She's sitting in 4th place, heading into the final run. That's where she had trouble in run 2. So really high degree of difficulty in that top section in the modified half pipe. Hopefully it pays dividends for her when the judges look at it. Let's see what she's got in the 22-foot section with a frontside 900 into the backside 540, incredibly well executed, and the frontside 720. Now here with the, wow, that was an unbelievable run.
This is going to be a big score.
So this is where we've really seen the top portion executed incredibly well. It's going to be really interesting to see how the judges weigh everything with that execution, that degree of difficulty, that creativity, combined with the frontside 900, with the frontside 7, with the cab 7.
She got a lot of hits in that big pipe.
One of the few competitors to get 4 hits in that 22-foot section.
And that alley-oop 50-50 at the top, which gave her trouble in the beginning. She said no problem.
And she executed so much better here. Watch how high she lands on the wall. Able to carry so much speed into this backside 540. Gets the grab on that, just
anything,
barely.
You were talking about this earlier, just the grabs hold a little bit longer.
A little bit longer, yeah. I think she executed better by landing higher on the wall here. And here's that cab 7 coming around, just getting that grab in, and she is having a wonderful finals.
Well, the stoke level high, you saw the just high beam smile from Ruki Tomita, our #1 qualifier. And a solid performance from her. She improves up to an 85. That puts her in 2nd place.
Well, that's a good day for a US Open rookie.
Well, and earlier this year in January, competed at the Locks Open. She finished 4th.
Yeah.
Just off that podium. That always kind of gives you a little bit of extra motivation.
Yeah, so with that re-rack, she was sitting in 4th. I believe we have 3 more riders to go to mix up that podium. I wonder if her sister's at home watching, proud.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah. So
here comes Haruna Matsumoto. Now she finds herself in 4th place. What does she need to do execution-wise?
She has the 1080. Will she pull it out? And now it's one of those tricks that she's not very consistent with. But she may need it in this situation.
She's obviously gritting her teeth, fighting through a little bit of pain today. Getting that transfer out of the modified section.
Again, we don't know the nature of her injury, but she has been demonstrably limping, but you cannot tell.
Frontside 900 into the backside 540. Here we go. Will we see the 10? We will see it. There it is. Frontside 1080 into the cab 720.
That was the best 1080 I have ever seen from Haruna Matsumoto all season long.
She's going to be so happy with that. She knew she couldn't do the back-to-back 7 run any better, and she is in quite a bit of discomfort here.
The struggle just to get back up, to stand up, yet after executing a run like that.
My heart is racing right now after seeing her pull that off. I have seen her fall over and over and over again on that trick.
We got a finals on our hands here, folks. Let's see. Transferring in with the 180 there, the half cab in, and here's that frontside 900, getting it around easily. And she's executing pretty well on that backside 540, getting the grab. Now here's that frontside 10. Does she get the grab? She does not get the grab. We'll have to see what the judges do with that. And she follows it up with the cab 720, getting 4 hits in that 22-foot section. What a great run for Haruna.
That was absolutely fantastic. To put it into perspective, about 2 weeks ago, I saw her at a contest. They had 3 runs. She went for that 1080 all 3 times and fell all 3 times. Well, guess what? The 3rd run here, she lands it.
We heard Kelly Clark say earlier, you have plenty of time to hurt later, but the ability to just channel what she needed to do clearly in pain and put in a performance like that in her final run at the US Open is incredible, and the judges taking their time with this score for Haruna Matsumoto. She does improve, and now she gets herself up into second place. You could tell she would really like to be up at the top. Wanted to get up into that first place. And with the injury to Mitsuki Ono, who was being attended to by medical, we have ourselves a 2020 Burton US Open champion.
What a great feeling taking a victory lap.
For Zhu Tong Kai, who finished here third last year and now getting to one-up it with the big win.
And she's had a fantastic season coming into this US Open. Won a number of World Cups, just came in with so much momentum. And look at just the height she has in that smaller pipe on that alley-oop.
I still want to see if she mixes it up here. Let's see what she's got. Oh, yes. Oh, air to fakie. Into the cap 720. Into the front side 900. With the backside 540.
It's a victory lap.
It's a victory lap.
And Zhu Tong Kai did not hold back.
Your US Open champion. What a great show these ladies put on today.
See that camaraderie between Haruna Matsumoto and Zhu Tong Kai, who is with Louis Vito.
Zhu Tong Kai, your first US Open championship champion. How does it feel?
I can't believe it. It's like dreams come true. Definitely. Oh.
No victory lap for you. You wanted to keep pushing it. How has the whole week been, especially riding this new modified half pipe?
In the beginning, the practice went a little struggling, but I did in the qualify feel the pipes really good, and I get used to the modified pipe too, the small transition. So today, like, super beautiful day. So I just push myself to riding my thing.
It's been fun to watch, and congratulations, your 2020 US Open championship.
Still can't believe it. Thank you, Louis.
Well, you see right there when Louis said, "You're the Burton US Open champion," you saw her face go like, "Oh wow, that's me. I just did that."
Well, because you have to remember, she has been competing here for a long time. She's put her time in. And, you know, she got up on the podium in 2019. But then when you put your time in and you persevere and you keep pushing yourself, you have to have that belief that one day it's going to happen. And today was her day.
Yeah, you heard her say that she looked up at the sky today, saw what a beautiful day it was, and said, "I'm going to push myself." And that pushing of herself gets herself the win. Let's take a look at the three top runs here from this final. First up with our third place finish.
So this is her first US Open, ending up in third place. Let's watch the replay. This is one of my favorite tricks in the modified pipe right there. Following it up with the alley-oop. Heading into the 22-foot transition. What a bright future she has ahead of her. With this beautiful frontside 900 landing really high on the wall, maintaining speed into the backside 540. Following it up with a big frontside 7 into the cab 720 to finish off that third place run.
Really impressive the way she was able to get in those four walls too.
And second place run, it was Haruna Matsumoto, riding in pain. Has been attempting that frontside 1080 all season long. Well, on this third run, she puts the top section together, the frontside 900, combines it with a backside 540, and watch this, a frontside 1080, and she lands it the right place, the right time to finish up second.
And to see her struggling just to stand up, getting out of her bindings, truly impressive. But it was Zhu Tong Kai's day today.
Just getting some air off that tombstone there. Into the alley-oop. She said working on that, a little bit challenging in the beginning, but not challenging for her today. Now this is one of my favorite things, the frontside 900 with the tuck knee executed, hanging on to that deep landing, carrying speed into that backside 5, and this is a thing of beauty, this air to fakie, slowing down her run. And that will be enough to win it today. Such a consistent rider. I couldn't be more happy for her ending up on US Open, top of the podium today, your US Open champion.
You heard Zhu Tong Kai say that this was a day where she reached a dream, a lifelong dream, to put herself in that historical list of women who have won here at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships. And congratulations to our entire field of women who really pushed each other and elevated the riding so that we were able to get the performances that we saw today. But Zhu Tong Kai, stoke level is going to be high for her for the rest of the weekend. And of course, we are not done. The men have been watching intently. They can't wait to get into this. We have so many other like mini competitions happening throughout the entire week, right? With best performances and Rookie of the Year. And of course, there is Cliff Best Line, where riders go up to the mini park and do follow cam lines and compete for the win. And it was
US Open. Shooting today for the Cliff Best Line Challenge. All you got to do is film your best line on Vail Mountain, not in either of the US Open courses. And the winner will be announced on the Burton Snowboards Instagram this Friday.
Brock Crouch with a fun line. We're going to announce the actual winner at the end of the day. I saw some great runs online. Renee
and also Ryan Walkendorfer. You know, he posted a line that he'd been riding since he was 7 years old, and it was through the trees and kind of this powder section, and he was doing backflips, and I was like, oh, wow.
Double backflips.
Yeah, you don't have to be in the park. Like, he was on the mountain figuring out some lines.
That is awesome. We look forward to seeing who's going to win Cliff Best Line. And of course, on Red Bull TV, we give you all the best that is happening in action sports around the world. And the best in the world join the Defying celebration in mountain biking, coming back to Rotorua, New Zealand. Crankworks, the Crankworks World Tour 2020 from New Zealand, March 5th through the 8th. You can watch that right here on Red Bull TV. Again, coming up next, the men's halfpipe finals. To see if Scotty Vibes will be able to get it done and defend his championship. These guys are chomping at the bit to jump into this modified pipe for their final here on the Big Dance. Kelly Clark, Tina Dixon, it is a joy to talk about snowboarding with you two. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. I love getting to talk shop.
Kelly has to go make some T-shirts now with
you got what
inspirational quotes. There was a lot of them tonight.
List. I'm hiring Kelly as my life coach. She won't be available for any more appearances moving forward.
I have to go stretch, actually, because I'm going to go get ready to do some poach runs here for the men's final.
I want to see that crippler.
On a little something. Take a look at some highlights from our women's competition, and we will see you guys shortly for the final dance. The men's pipe finals here at the Burton US Open Snowboarding Championships 2020 in memory of the one and only, the greatest steward of the culture, Jake Burton.